What's going on YouTube? So of course F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the United States, which is why it makes a lot of sense that Ford would make one of their very first electric vehicles an electric version of the F-150. This of course is the new F-150 Lightning. And though it's not the V8 powerhouse the old Lightning used to be, we are sure this new version will prove to be just as exciting. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this electrifying review of one of the very first electric pickups on the market. So when you first hear electric F-150, you might be thinking that we're going to see a radically different design, but we're actually not really seeing a radically different design, although there are plenty of elements that tell you it is the Lightning version. So up here in the front, the main giveaway is going to be the fact that this is entirely sealed off. There's obviously no point in having a large grille for an electric vehicle, so this is just going to all be one big piece of plastic. Now, depending on which trim you choose, this pattern does vary a little bit, but by and large, all Lightnings are going to look this way. In terms of your lower fascia, this is where the little bit of air that's needed to cool the batteries is going to go in, and then you're going to have body-colored lower bumpers for all but the base Pro model. The other main element is, of course, going to be updated lighting on the Lightning. So, as you can see, we have this long daytime running light that runs all the way through here and wraps around. That's kind of your signature giveaway that this is a Lightning model and gives it a really interesting look. And then in terms of the main LED lights, these are going to be full LED projector style with active bending on all of the models. Now as we come around to our wheels, of course you're going to see new designs for this model. You're going to start out with 18-inch alloys for your Pro and your XLT trim levels, 20-inch alloys for the Lariat, and then when you get to this fully loaded Platinum model, that's of course where you're going to get the nicest wheels. These are 22-inch contrast alloys. I really like the way these look, and they certainly look different from what you get on the gas-powered Platinum trim level. As I stand up here and we'll take a look at our mirrors, you're going to notice a lot of different features. So you have standard blind spot monitoring on all of the models, including the base Pro model. You get heating once you go up one rung, and then if you want the power fold as well as auto dimming abilities, you're going to have to choose the Lariat or the Platinum models. But let's go ahead and now talk about the charge port, which is going to be located right underneath of this lip. Now you actually have this same looking design on both sides, but only here on the driver's side this is going to be the charge port. You're just going to press there and it'll open right up. So in terms of the battery pack, what you're going to be looking at is a standard range model at 98 kilowatt hours, and then an extended range model at 131 kilowatt hours. And I will go ahead and just kind of mention what the charge rates and stuff are. So you're going to be looking at, with 150 kilowatt fast charge level 3, you're going to charge from 15 to 80% in 41 minutes on the extended range battery, which does actually charge faster than the standard range battery for some reason. And then 10 minutes with the DC fast charging is enough to give you 54 miles of range with that extended range battery. So you're looking at really good numbers. And of course, we'll talk more about some of this stuff when we get into the test drive.
All right, guys, so let's talk about the bed and cab configurations. Well, Ford has actually made my job quite a bit easier than a normal F-150 because they're only giving you the one option, at least for now. It's going to be crew cab, as you see here, with the 5.5-foot bed on the back. So that is what it's going to be for all of the Lightnings for the foreseeable future. I imagine they might add different cab configurations as we get further on throughout its production cycle. Now here at the side, you will notice this unique design element. Not really anything else is different at the side besides for your Lightning badging right here. Such a cool badge here. I really like it on this F-150. And then coming around to the rear design itself, it's really not drastically different than a regular F-150. Of course, you do have unique elements, but it still has that very F-150-esque vibe to it. So the main difference is that you're going to have this big tube LED light bar in between that connect the two taillights. And then you have your LED reverse lights here in the middle as well. Now, they are going to be full LED if you choose at least the Lariat or Platinum trim levels. And as you can see, they have really cool design. If you can look at it, you see three-dimensional elements here. And like I mentioned, every single element in here is LED, including the reverse light. We have F-150 stamped into the tailgate, some more Lightning branding. I really am a big fan of the branding here. Down here at the bottom, it is going to be body color finishing, as long as you opt for not the very base Pro model. And then for our towing rating, for this particular model, we have the extended range, which means we have a 10,000 pound tow rating. But guys, this is an F-150 after all. It might be electric, but you still need all of the standard F-150 stuff. So let's go ahead and check out the bed. So you'll notice that we do have a fully power tailgate, so that's power up and down, and that's if you go for a Lariat or Platinum trim level. And as far as the bed itself is concerned, this looks like pretty much the standard F-150 bed. Like I mentioned, it's 5.5 foot. We have a nice bed liner going on here. We have LED lighting across all the sides. And then, like you've seen in some of the other, like the Power Boost F-150, you do have all of these outlets right here. That's to keep everything charged up. So as far as the actual power supplies, for the two base trim levels, you're looking at a 2.6 kilowatt hour power supply system. For the Lariat and Platinum, you're looking at 9.6 kilowatt hours, or kilowatts, excuse me. So you will be able to do all the cool stuff like charge your entire house. And, you know, if your electricity goes out, plug in your truck and fully do that. Now, as far as other things to mention, we do have the assist step here to make getting in and out of the bed very easy. You've seen that on other F-150 models. And then in order to shut it up, you just push the button underneath of there, and it does go ahead and power lift up. I also want to mention on the Platinum model, you have onboard scale, which is a really innovative system that basically measures the payload in the back, and it will fill up the LED tail light based on like the progress of how full the payload is. That's standard on the Platinum model. All right, guys, and now it's time for one of the coolest features about this all-new F-150 Lightning. You've probably already seen it in some of the advertising, but we have the Mega Frunk up here in the front of this truck. That's kind of a tongue twister right there. But as you can see, you just locate the button underneath the lid there. That pops it up, and then it is also going to just power lift off. That's actually standard equipment on every single Lightning model. And what you're going to find in here is a lot of space, guys. You're looking at 14.1 cubic feet of cargo capacity in this Mega Frunk. So yeah, if you're keeping tabs on that, 14 cubic feet of area that you can just throw whatever you need, keep it out of the rain. That's really unique to having an electric pickup truck, is that you get this much capability and space and protected from the elements and not even impeding on any of the cargo space. Now, as far as some of your features in here, we do have a little bit of additional storage up underneath of the floor. And then over here on the side, we have not one, not two, not three, but 4 household style outlets, plus USB-C and USB Type-A. So I swear, guys, if you can't charge up all of your stuff, then you have way, way too much stuff in this F-150 Lightning. And then in order to shut it up, you just push this button. So for this all-new electric F-150, you are going to have pretty good safety systems as well as the warranty, so we'll go ahead and break down some of those. So for your safety systems, you're going to have 3 out of 4 of them on every single model, so it's going to be forward emergency braking, auto high beams, and lane keeping assist. If you want adaptive cruise control, you will have to either option it onto the XLT or go for at least a Lariat or Platinum trim level that will throw that in. If you go for that top-end Platinum like what we have today, that will also throw in Blue Cruise, which of course is a hands-free highway driving system. So that's a pretty unique feature, as well as active parking abilities as well. Now, as far as your warranty information is concerned, you have 3-year, 36,000 mile basic warranty. And then for the battery, we're looking at 8 years and 100,000 miles. Well, guys, that's it for the F-150 Lightning on the outside. This is one awesome truck with a lot of innovative features, so we can't wait to show you what's on the inside before we take it out in a spin.
So walking up to this Lightning Platinum model, you will find basically the same version of the Ford key that you see on most of their models, and that does also include remote start. And then getting inside, just grab behind the handle, it will unlock the door. Some really nice looking animations when we first open up the door. And let's go ahead and climb inside here. We do have the standard running boards, which are fixed in this case. And then you also have a hand grab here to help you get inside. So obviously, as I panned across the interior, you'll know there are a few differences from the standard F-150, of course, but let's talk about cabin materials and color options first of all. So taking a look at our seats, you do have several different versions. So you get a vinyl seat, a cloth seat, a leather seat, and then when you get to the top end platinum model like what we have here, this is the premium Nirvana leather, and it comes in the exclusive gray and black combination you see here. Looks absolutely lovely. Of course, the leather quality is very premium. It has a nice supple feel to the perforations. We have great details up here, including the platinum branding. And as we come over to the seats themselves, these are going to be 10-way power adjusting on both the Lariat and the Platinum, plus we do have power massage. And then taking a look around at the cabin materials in general, of course, this is a very premium truck, and you have all the nice touches on the Platinum trim level. So across our armrest, we have more of that nice leather. We have the color contrast stitching and piping. That's also going to run across the entire upper door trim, which is also covered in that same leather. And then the center part is finished in an Alcantara. We do have a genuine open pore wood right through there. Of course, you've got 3-person memory seating. And in terms of our windows, they're going to be one-touch auto up and down for your driver and your passenger. Plus, nice metal speaker grille. Now as we move on up, more of that leather is going to go all through these areas. The upper parts of the dash are going to be hard touch though, but you still have that piece of leather that runs in the more accessible areas where you might touch. Down below we have a kind of aluminum looking trim, more of that leather with the double stitching details, more open pore wood. And then along the side here, we're going to have a kind of combination of piano black as well as this silver trim. All right, but let's go ahead and start it up. Of course, you do have standard push button start. Initially, that doesn't look any different, but you'll notice it does have a little power symbol right there for the O. As you could hear, of course, A, you're not going to have any engine sound, obviously. B, you do have a different startup tone as well from the other Ford models. Now, as far as your gauge cluster is concerned, as you can probably tell, this is a 12-inch reconfigurable gauge cluster, fully digital, and it's going to be included actually on every single version of the Lightning F-150. Obviously, graphics here are very nice, crisp looking. You can change a lot of different elements of this design as well. And then when you switch to different drive modes and stuff, you'll definitely see the design itself reflect that right there is like the off-road goes to kind of a cool rugged look there in the back. I am noticing that we don't actually have a head-up display on this model though. Now as we pull back to the steering wheel, of course we have the latest Ford design, nice leather wrap steering wheel. You got the piano black accents. The Platinum model has the Platinum version of the Ford emblem. And as we come down here, you are going to find a power adjusting steering wheel on the Platinum model, optional on the Lariat, and then you have heating standard on the Lariat and the Platinum model as well. And as we come down there, we do also have the power adjusting pedals. That's going to be included actually on all but the base model. Now, one of the great things about the Lightning is that it's still a regular F-150 at heart when it comes to practicality. That means you're going to have just tons and tons of storage. So let's go ahead and let's kind of take a look at some of those storage options. Of course, you still have the absolutely gigantic center console. You can pull that little tray out and take a look inside. As you can tell, this drops down super deep. There is a rubber lining down here at the bottom. And you know I have to do it. Let's put it to the test with the coupons. As you can see, it's an absolute joke. We could fit thousands of coupons, much less that small stack there. Now, of course, we do have our cup holders right there. You have another storage area up here in the front. This is going to double as a wireless phone charging pad. You have 2 USB connections as well. We have storage along the sides here. You have storage in the door trims. storage up there on the top, storage pretty much everywhere in terms of this cabin. So that's definitely a very nice touch that they've kept all that around. Now additionally, I should go ahead and point out we do have the work surface, so you fold that down, you put your laptop here, do some work, sign some papers, whatever you need to do to get the job done, which is made possible by the folding shifter. All the versions of the Lightning are going to come with the bucket seats and have this center mounted console shifter. Of course, you can pull back for drive, and then right there is going to be a reverse. When you do that, you're going to see the 360 degree camera system pop up. That's going to be included on all but that base Pro model. In terms of other things, you are going to notice we have the trailer backup assist. This is going to be included on the Platinum model. And the camera resolution here is very nice. It does take up most of the screen here with the 360 view. We can switch between some other views as well, and you have front and rear parking sensors. And for park, of course, just go up to the P, and then you can press that button and fold it away if you don't need to use it again. But we might as well not avoid it any longer. The dominant piece of this cabin has got to be this gigantic 15.5-inch display. Of course, you're going to find a lot of different functions of the cabin inside of this display, so we'll go ahead and kind of work through some of those features, but I wanted to go ahead and mention the size. For the Lariat and the Platinum, now if you choose the two lower trim levels, that's going to come with the still large, but not quite as large 12-inch display. So we'll start down here at the bottom. We're going to be looking at our dual zone automatic climate control setup. That's going to be integrated right here into the display. So to adjust your temperature, you just do it like that, or you can also slide it up if you want to make a larger adjustment. Fan speeds are going to be located right there. And then you'll also find your seat controls. So as we pop that up, you're going to find heated seats optional on the XLT, standard on the Lariat and the Platinum model. And then ventilated seats are also going to be included on the Lariat and the Platinum. So you slide up for heat, down for ventilation. Pretty simple overall. And this lower panel does seem to be nice and responsive as to not, distract you while you're driving or anything like that. The other thing you'll find down here in this lower part of the panel is this really cool volume knob. Just like with the Mach-E, it's actually a physical knob, but it's integrated into the display itself. I really love that touch. It's super cool. And that's going to be hooked to a really, really nice audio system in the case of this Platinum Lightning. 18 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. So without waiting any longer, let's give that a sample. Wow, the sound quality of this system is just absolutely superb. Really great sound, as you'd expect, considering we have 18 speakers in the headrest, speakers up there on the ceiling, all of them finished in a nice metal. Just really, really great overall sound system. Okay, so the other thing we need to talk about is the top part of the display is for our main part of our infotainment system. So this is going to be the latest Ford system, the Sync 4 system as it's known. And right now I'm in the Android Auto interface. As you can tell, both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are going to run wirelessly on this new system. And that's basically what that's going to look like. Very simple and easy to use. Now we do have a detailed video related to the Sync 4 system, so I won't go into all the different details, but if we press that button, you can drop down some menus related to your profile. You can also click on the car, and that's going to give you just a ton of different options in terms of your lighting, your different customizability features, basically all types of things. And then you also have your settings right there. So overall, it's pretty easy to get used to, even though it is a pretty feature-dense piece of software. Now as we rise on up here, we do have an auto dimming mirror. These are going to be your home link universal remotes. And of course, as you'd expect for a high-end truck, we do have a power panoramic sunroof. The shade here goes all the way back, and the front part of the panel does open up.
Well guys, here I am in the Platinum high-end version of the F-150 Lightning's rear seat. And back here you're going to have a lot of really nice space as well as a lot of really nice luxury features, as you would expect out of the fully loaded Lightning model. So let's talk about these space figures first. We're looking at 43.6 inches of rear legroom, 40.4 inches of rear headroom. As you can see, my feet can slide up underneath the seat. I'm 5'9" for reference, if you're curious, and as you can see, I have I'd say, a foot of space between my knees and Drew's sitting position. He's 5'8" for reference, so lots and lots of space, as you would expect out of an F-150. Here in the center, we are going to have cup holders up top, nice silver trim around them. Vents are, I believe, going to be standard equipment on every single model. Right here, we have our heated rear seats. Those are standard on the Platinum version of the Lightning. They are optional on the Lariat. 12-volt outlet down below that. USB-C, as well as a charging USB and a household style outlet, so you can certainly keep everything charged up in this rear seat. If we fold down the center armrest, we have cup holders inside, and then if you turn to the door trim, let's talk about that. Leather on the upper part, Alcantara in the middle, leather on the armrest portion, plus all of your traditional door storage that you get on F-150 and a metal speaker grille, so really quite impressive rear area for the Platinum Lightning model. In typical F-150 fashion, you are going to have usability for the rear area, so you can just fold the seats up like that. And as you can see, we do have a storage tray. It's right now in its locked position, so you can fit all that you need in here. So that's certainly very nice, but not really any different than the regular F-150, which is a good thing. Now your passenger seat is going to be power adjusting if you go for a Lariat or Platinum model. Then in front of us, we have a good-sized glove box. You know, I don't know how many of you all will be using coupons if you buy this fully loaded Platinum Lightning model, but we do have plenty of room for it right there, and then we can also open this up and put our individual coupons, maybe our frequent flyers can fit in there. And then up top, we have a sun visor, LED lighting, a mirror. We can detach it as well as extend it out. Whoa.
66 miles per hour up a hill.
Wow.
Yeah, so this Lightning is very powerful. 563 horsepower, 775 pound-feet of torque. Yes, you are hearing me right. That is actually how much power this F-150 Lightning makes. It's really, it's quite incredible.
Yeah, for sure. It is a ridiculous power figure. And I can tell you, just sitting in here, this is by far the most powerful F-150 we've been in, even more so than the Raptor. It's definitely faster to 60, if you ask me.
Yeah, this is the most powerful F-150 ever, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. And that is because we do have the extended range battery on this particular model, so that of course gets you more power, more range, more capability, so better in all fronts. But if you go for the standard range, you're looking at 426 horsepower, 775 pound-feet of torque still, so just a little bit less horsepower.
Nothing to sleep on.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely not. That's insane figures as well, but that's out of the smaller 98 kilowatt-hour battery pack.
Right, and we'll talk about pricing, of course, a little later in the video, but that's still great power for that base price.
Yeah. There's just a real casual acceleration up to 60. It's still controllable, even though it does have a lot of power. It's normal feeling.
For sure. The only abnormal thing about it is the fact that you have to get accustomed to driving a totally silent F-150.
Very weird experience, yeah.
Yeah, no shifting, of course. You don't have a transmission. You just have the single speed that takes you up to speed. And we do have standard four-wheel drive as well on this version.
But I do want to talk about, just your ride quality. I know we've talked a little bit about the power and all of that. That's, what's going to make the headlines is how much power it has and stuff. But let's talk about the ride quality, how everyday livable this F-150 Lightning is. And I'm happy to see that really nothing has changed over a regular gas-powered F-150 Platinum. If you ask me, I think it's about the same ride quality. I don't see any type of suspension differences, which is certainly a good thing. It rides extremely well. The seats are comfortable. It's just a very well done ride quality. Now, you're still not going to have an air suspension or anything like that on this Lightning model, even in its fully loaded trim level, but they do a really good job with the suspension tuning of this. Let's get a sound level reading here. Wow, guys. 53.4 decibels. That's seriously one of the lowest readings we've ever gotten in any sound level test. That's like getting close to like S-Class level. And really the reason for that is because you're not having, an engine in the background. It's a full electric vehicle, so that's certainly weird, like we were talking about, to get used to a big truck like this to be fully silent upon acceleration and at full speed, but it definitely plays well to give you a very quiet cabin, and they've done a great job of just keeping you very insulated from the outside in general. Wow.
And Ford doesn't really have any sound effect or anything either, I'm noticing. So that's part of why it's so quiet. They're not trying to, give you a fake V8 sound or anything per se.
Now, I do want to talk about your range. I don't want to leave you in suspense any longer about how far you can go on a single charge for this F-150 Lightning. So, if you go for a standard capacity battery, so the 98 kilowatt hour version, you're going to be looking at a maximum range of 230 miles. The extended range, like what we have today, is going to be rated at 300 miles. So that's, of course, really pretty revolutionary range out of a giant pickup truck like this. That's about as good as most normal mainstream vehicles are right now electrified, about 300 miles of range. So in order to get that out of a big pickup truck like this is pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, you do have the full 131 kilowatt hour battery to achieve that, so that's a pretty big battery capacity, but like Drew mentioned on the outside, it does still charge very quickly. It actually charges quicker in the extended range than the standard range, which is a little bit of an interesting feature.
The torque.
So awesome.
Yeah, it just pushes you back in the seat.
I mean, yeah, it's really awesome to have that much torque, and then you're not paying $5 every time you do that, because if you did that in a Raptor, it's probably $10 every time you accelerate.
It's getting there.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is really pretty awesome. Now let's go ahead and get into our Slam Dunk and Airball. So we are back in our home state of Kentucky, so let's get into that. So Slam Dunk today, I think really just has to be the overall package that they've made here with this F-150 Lightning. I know that sounds a little bit generic, but this is a pretty revolutionary truck, and this is one of the first full electric trucks on the market, and it just does a really great job of capitalizing on what the F-150 has always been strong in, and then just kind of switching it to an electric powertrain, giving you a lot of innovative features, but also the electric powertrain that really just helps keep it in modern touches.
Right, and Ford is really targeting the mainstream.
Yeah.
So, you have the Rivian, which is technically out now for a very limited number of people, but that's very luxurious. And with this, Ford is really targeting the mainstream. The same people, hopefully, that buy the regular F-150 in just absolute droves. If they translate just a small percentage of those people, you're going to see these things everywhere.
Right.
Now, on the airball side of things, we had to kind of think about this for a second. I think the airball could be the fact that it doesn't really look different than the regular gas-powered F-150. Some people might be expecting kind of a futuristic electric pickup truck to maybe look more futuristic. So for better or for worse, depends on your perspective, it does look very much traditional overall in terms of the exterior as well as the interior.
But guys, it's time to talk about a very important part about the F-150 Lightning, the pricing. So, there is a wide gamut of prices between the very base model and this fully loaded Platinum, as there are with any F-150 model. So we have the Pro starting at $39,974. Keep in mind this is with four-wheel drive. The XLT is $52,974. The Lariat is $67,474, and then you have this Platinum, which starts at $90,874. Now, this particular tester, once we add in destination, is going to be $93,874. So, yes, Drew did mention that this is targeting the mainstream. I think $93,000 does put this one a little bit out of reach of the mainstream, just a little bit. But you know, do keep in mind you are getting a lot with this. This is a full luxury truck on top of all the cool stuff that they've done with the Lightning in general.
And that below $40,000 starting price, now that is very, very attractive, because while you give up all the luxury features, you still have fundamentally the same truck. So that's certainly very appealing in that regard.
Yeah, we look forward to maybe doing a review on one of those more basic models to see what you actually get there and break that down for you guys, hopefully in the near future.
So at the end of the day, this F-150 Lightning really just kind of leaves a wow impression. It just really feels like a special but also just very approachable electric truck. You've got just enough of this futuristic technology, cool new features. You have all the traditional F-150 things that have made the F-150 such a successful product for decades upon decades. And then you just combine that here with a, really, really excellent, very powerful and high range electric system. So, I mean, like I said, it's really kind of hard to come up with something to complain about with this F-150 Lightning, because it really is an exceptional electric truck.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you making it this far in our in-depth review of the all-new 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning in its fully loaded Platinum trim level. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, please hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. It truly helps us out. It gives us access to cars like these to get you all first looks on them, so you can make informed buying decisions. Also, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.